Roger Sadowsky here. We have a lot of replacement pickups that are available for sale. And if you wanted to replace your pickups, either upgrade on a Sadowsky MetroExpress or to put into an existing base you may own, any J-style or P-style instrument, I want to give you a simple demonstration of how relatively easy this is to do. And you don't need any fancy equipment. You need a Phillips head screwdriver, a simple soldering iron, one that costs $20 or $30 on Amazon is all you need, some solder, and at the most a stripper for stripping the insulation off the plastic on the wires, and a little wire cutter. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is remove the control plate. Now, one thing I encourage all of my staff to do, and I encourage you, whenever you're using a screwdriver on your guitar, put your fingers around the head of the screwdriver because you can slip off and you can easily scratch or ding the finish. It's really good to keep your fingers here as a guarantee that you won't slip off and damage. And you always want to have a cup to put small parts so you don't lose them. So I'm removing the control plate. And now I have to remove the screws for the pickups. These screws are all the same, so you don't have to worry about mixing anything up. Now, before I remove the pickups, I have to disconnect the wires from the control assembly. So I'm going to lift this out, and this has enough wire that I can turn it over. I'm also going to put this cloth here, again, to help protect the finish. So each pickup usually has two wires. This first pot is for this pickup, and these are the two wires. The one going to the back of the pot is the ground wire, and the one going to the lug of the pot is the hot wire. So we're going to start by removing those. And I just have to heat up the solder connection here. This solder connection is the hardest because the back of the pot pulls the heat from the soldering iron. This one is much easier as far as heating it up. And to take that off there. And once I get that off, then I can lift out and remove the pickup like so. And now I'll do the same thing for the bridge pickup. So here we have three wires. One of them is the ground wire for the pickup, but the other one is for bridge ground. And it comes from under the bridge to here. And that's this wire here. That one I don't need to remove. If you remove it, you do just resolder it because they're all attached to the same location. So I'm going to start with the hot wire here. Again, it's attached to the pot. So, and now we'll remove the ground wire. And I'm going to try to just remove the pickup ground if I can, which is this wire here. You can see how much more heat this solder joint requires. And now I can remove the bridge pickup. Okay, so now we're ready to install the new pickups. There's a hole here that runs into this compartment. So we just want to feed the wire through, like so. And then I can put this one into place. And I'll just put a couple of screws just to hold it in place for right now. And now I'll do the bridge pickup. The correct orientation for the pickup is where the wires come off. It should be the side where the control assembly is. And you always will also have our logo pointing towards the bridge. Okay, and now a couple of screws here. Okay, so on each of these pickups, the white wire is the hot wire, and the black wire is the ground wire. So we're going to put the hot wire. I'm just going to coil these up a little to make them easier to manage. The white wire is going to go to the pot, and the black wire is going to go to ground. One thing that's a good thing to always do is to pre-solder the tips of the wire. And that helps it solder to the pot with much less heat. You want to have your cloth underneath it, and you just heat the wire, and you put a little drop of solder like so. That's called pre-tinning the wire. And so now I can go and put them at the right locations. Like we said, this is going to the hot terminal of the pot. And after you get the wire in place, you don't want to move it until the solder hardens. If you move it while it's hardening, that will cause what's called a cold solder joint. It won't be a good connection. So if it does move, just hold it steady and reheat the solder joint until it turns liquid again and flows. And then let go and let it harden without moving the wire. Again, this requires a little bit more heat, and it also helps to introduce a little fresh solder to get it to melt. And then I can put this in place and hold it down. Now you see how that dried kind of gray instead of shiny? That's the cold solder joint. So I'm going to just reheat it with a little fresh solder. Now you see this time how it shines shiny? That's exactly what you want. So that pickup's done. And now we're going to do the bridge pickup. Same way. And again, we want to pre-tin the bare wire. And like so. Then the hot wire goes to the pot, to the location where it originally was, the center lug of the pot. Put it in place. Check to see if it's shiny or not. And again, if you have any doubts, a little more solder never hurts, like so. And now I have a nice shiny solder joint. That's always what you want, is a shiny joint. And now we'll do the ground lug to the back of the pot, like the other one. And I just need more solder. Now that wire can get hot while you're soldering, so it's always okay to hold the wire down like this while you're soldering, and then let it cool off. Okay, and that's really all there is. And so now we're going to close it back up and put our wires inside like so. Close up, make sure no wires are sticking up here. And then we can put our screws back in. And now I can finish putting the pickup screws back in. Okay, that's basically it. Now you would put your strings back on, tune it up to pitch, do a final adjustment of your pickup heights. You can find those specs in the user's manual or online. Be sure to watch the Andy Irvine video on our YouTube channel, in which he demonstrates the sound difference in a bass in which we've replaced the single coil pickups with our hum canceling pickups. That's it for now. See you soon.